You've been doing the same training program for, I don't know, the past month, the past 6 weeks. You're now getting a little bit bored. It must now be just the right time to change things up. Yep. Wrong. Okay, so my name is Andy Naylor. I am CEO and founder of Naylor Body Design and host of the Optimal Alpha podcast. So today is covering something that I think, again, it's always something that I tend to see happening a lot that I just think is not best practice. So we're going to cover 3 topics as per normal. Those 3 topics are going to be, so first of all, why people change things up in terms of their training, or why people change things up way too often. Why this is then probably an unwise move or solution, and then what is a better solution? What could be a better thing that somebody could do to get a better result? So those are the 3 areas that we're going to delve into. So first of all, why do people change things up? So this is really common. People not sticking to a plan long term. Now, I think partly this might have started back when, once upon a time, when there used to be bodybuilding magazines and training plans would come out in the magazine, and what would happen next month is a new magazine would come out and there'd be new plans in there from people's favorite influencers, or back then it'd be IFBB pros or whoever it was, and someone would just swap to the next plan in the magazine. So people got used to just constantly changing their routine. And I don't know whether that's where it started, but certainly I remember that was something that happened to me. You know, the next Flex magazine or Health and Fitness would come out and there'd be a new so-and-so's workout in there and they look fantastic, and that needs to be the thing that I'm now doing. And I'll just swap everything that I was doing and go and start doing that. People tend to change because they get bored. I need variety in my training. Do you? Really? Think of some of the best sports stars in their given sport in the world. The variety in what they do will not be as much as you think it is. They get very, very good at the things that they need to do for the outcome that they want. Boredom doesn't come into it. If you're getting bored of your workout, but you're getting results, well, how could you get bored? If you're not getting results and you get bored, then there are other things to consider. But generally people are, I get bored of doing the same thing over and over again. Yeah, you're just not very bloody good at it. So you're not seeing a result. So you get bored. So you think you then need to, I need to switch everything up because I'm bored. That is a mental problem. That is not a physical or physiological issue that you need to overcome boredom to start making changes with your body. No, get out of your own head. Getting bored with something, you just want entertainment. Go and sit in front of Netflix if you get bored. Think about that. Discipline is the ability to do something even when you don't want to do it. And that means overcoming boredom. People also like, I need to shock my body. I need to shock my body. Your body is so far ahead of you, you've no idea. Your body is keeping you alive through all that you've thrown at it through your life. The amount of bodily functions and mechanisms that are going on without you even thinking about it. If you think you can trick or shock your body, I think you're living in cuckoo land. That's like there's nothing to do with shocking the body. People change because they don't know how to overcome a plateau. I've hit a plateau, therefore the thing that I'm doing is not working anymore. So therefore I now need to go and do something different. Really? Or do you just need to get better? Do you need to stick to it longer term? Is there another element of the everything else that's going on that needs to be looked at outside of the gym? And quite often people would, here's the thing, right? When we all started going to the gym and training and whatever, what did we do? We just, generally speaking, all of us watched what everyone else was doing and copied them. I know I did, so I know most other people did. Most people don't walk into a gym and immediately book into a PT and get really fucking good from the start. That's not what most people do. Most people go into the gym, keep themselves to themselves, just watch everybody else and copy them, which is why, generally speaking, quality in the gym is not great. And then someone goes, oh, what program are you doing? Oh, I'm doing this. Oh, I'll swap to what you're doing then, mate. So people just fall into doing what everybody else is doing. These are just some of the common factors behind why people just swap things up. And respectfully, because people don't know any better. They just want to swap things. Okay? So why could this not be a wise one? Now, I'm not saying don't swap stuff, right? If the result is not the thing that is the most important to you, swap everything you like, do what you want. Like, I don't care. But what I see from people who swap things is a complete lack of consistency in the training. Why? Well, simply everything is moving, changing. Could be the split, could be the exercise selection, the exercise order. The experiment is now no longer an experiment. You're now just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. That's what it is. You'd see a true lack of the ability to track progress. If you're sticking to one movement for 6 weeks and then you swap it for something else before you've reached a stalling point, a stopping point on that movement, and you go off and do something else, how are you still actually progressing? Do you know? Because the movement is different, the numbers are different, it's a different movement. You've now lost the ability to track progress. I think it also means you've got a lack of mental fortitude. If you can't stick to a plan long term, and yes, things do need to be swapped and moved around, and we'll talk about that. But ultimately, if you cannot create a plan that works and stick to it long term, and I mean months and years, then you've got a lack of mental fortitude. You've also got a lack of focus on your goal. You've lost the ability to progress a movement long term. Now, what I mean by that is there are some movements that I've done and I'll always do because they fit me, they work me very, very well, and I can track the progress I've made on them over years. Now, if you're changing your movements around, you lose that data, really. You don't really truly know if you're making progress. You could be changing movements in and out and actually just sitting still, staying still in terms of your progress. You've lost the chance for results long term. And the shocking the body, right? So the shocking the body, I think, is a myth. I mean, there is a thing called a novel stimulus. The body reacts to a novel stimulus. Now, people tend to think, this is just my particular view, that changing their whole program around, yes, it's a novel stimulus. Yes, you'll be full of DOMs, left, right, and center, and you're like, oh, I've changed my program. Everything hurts. That must be a good sign. DOMs are not a sign of progress. DOMs are not a sign of progress. Like, think about it. DOMs are just a reaction to a novel stimulus, but novel stimulus wears off very, very quickly. A better novel stimulus would just be a slight bit of progression on the same movement you were doing last week. One extra rep, an extra set, an extra kilogram or a few pounds. That's still a novel stimulus, but it's now trackable long term. Okay? Those are some of the reasons why I think swapping and changing things just doesn't make a huge amount of sense if body optimization is the long-term goal. So what's a better solution? Well, the opposite of everything that I've just said, basically. Run a set plan. Run a set plan. Stick to the movements that fit you. There will only be so many of the big key movements, the big chest pressing movements, back rowing and pull down movements, leg pressing movements. There are only going to be so many that fit you from the gym that you've got access, so the kit that you've got access to, the limitations that you've got in terms of injuries, surgeries, any other limitations, the things you actually enjoy to do, the things you don't enjoy to do. There's the menu is not that big of great movements. So stick to them. Find the ones that work for you and stick to them long term, and then run them as long as you can to extract every little bit of progress from that movement you can. Eventually, the chances are you'll hit a block, you'll hit a stall. Now, how could you overcome that? Well, it could be stress, it could be sleep, it could be hydration, it could be anything else in the background. But let's say all of those things are absolutely pinned and perfect, which they probably aren't, but let's say that they are. There's going to come a point where the mechanics of a movement, your body just is going to struggle to keep going. Now, that's when you would swap something. But let's just say, for example, we've got upper, lower, a 4-day split, nice and straightforward. Now, that means in the 2 lower sessions, the chances are there's going to be 2 big leg movements in there. Could be a squat, could be a hack press, a hack squat even, or could be a leg press. They're the two, or a pendulum squat. They're the obvious ones, right? So, but you've only got, chances are, you've only got two of those running at any one time. So on one of the lower days, you would probably be doing leg press as your big compound movement. And maybe on the other day, you're doing a squat. So let's say the leg press, you just come to a grinding halt, right? And eventually you're just like, I've been stuck here now for X amount of weeks. I've taken a deload. I've re-gone at it. I just cannot get past this point. Okay, that's when to swap it out. Now we would go, okay, what other options do we have? So let's just now take out only the leg press, maybe put in a hack squat. We know where we got to on the leg press. We now run the hack squat for the next 4-6 months or something until we hit a sticking point. And guess what? We'll probably rotate back in the leg press, push it again, and chances are we'll beat where we got stuck last time. It's so simple. It's so logical. That makes far more technical sense than I'm going to do leg press for 4 weeks, and I'm going to do a squat for 4 weeks, and I'm going to do this. Why would you do that? Your job is to extract as much out of a movement as you possibly can. And rather than ripping up a whole program, you just rotate in and out separate movements that are a variation of the movement. So you could be doing a flat Smith machine chest press. You hit a sticking point. Right, okay, sack that off. I'm going to go off and do dumbbell flat press. It's very much a comparable movement, but the chances are you'll go off and progress that. And then when you come back to the Smith press, chances are you'll be able to push it on a little bit further. Only swap out a movement when it is fully stalled. And I mean fully, not just, I didn't beat last week, I must swap it. No, you need to push, then probably take a deload, then push again. Then if you're still stuck, then it's time to swap that movement out. This is it's much more of a laser-focused approach rather than a scattergun approach. We've all walked into a gym at some point with literally no idea what we're going to do. Like we've got no plan. We've walked in. It's like, right, what's free? What shall I jump on? Well, this isn't much further down the line from that. It's like, oh, okay, so today I'm just going to do this workout, or I've been doing this particular push, pull, legs, upper, lower, bro split, whatever it is, for 6 weeks. I'm kind of bored of it now. I think I'm going to go do something else. It's exactly the same as when someone's dieting. Right, I need to lose weight. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to cut out all carbs because carbs are evil and they make me fat. And I might as well do keto. Right, so I'm keto. So now I'm going to go off and do keto. And I've lost 10 pounds. But keto's making me miserable because I can't eat anything that's carbohydrates. Right, now I'm going to go and do paleo because obviously that gives me another option. Like it's the same thing. People jump and swap between diets like there's no tomorrow. Rather than just finding the one thing that works for them, people will jump and swap. It's a really poor approach to things. Treat all of this like an experiment. Keep as many things as constant as possible. And if you can't do that, then learn. Chances are, if you're listening to this, you're an adult. Treat this seriously. Or don't. Like, it's completely up to you. But then don't moan for the results you didn't get, for the effort and the work that you couldn't be asked to do. It is as simple as that. Stop throwing shit at the wall and hoping that something is going to stick. Okay? So just to recap today, ultimately, be far more mindful when you decide to change something. If you're changing something in your training because you are bored, you need to sit down and just think on that for a moment. Okay, I'm bored. All right, I'm bored. Why am I bored? Well, I'm not seeing results. Okay, well, is it the leg press that's not getting me results? Or is it because I'm just a complete wet flannel and I don't train very hard? Or, I'm not drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, my stress is through the roof, I'm not eating the right food. Is it something else? Rather than just swap the movements around, look at everything. Be honest with yourself. How structured, disciplined are you? Because by this point, like if you've started a new program, you'll be quote unquote motivated at the start to go and get into that program. I've done that. I know that I've bought books and they've been like a chest focused book and I've been super excited to start and they've been fun. And then I've taken out of that what's useful and built my own program around it. But to start with, you start something like that and it's very motivating. Motivation is fairy dust. It doesn't exist. You'll get into a program, become demotivated, and then you're trying to restart motivation by changing your plan. Like it's completely the wrong way around. First of all, fuck motivation. What you need is habits, behaviors, lifestyle, momentum. Not motivation, momentum. My training plan has looked the same for God knows how many years. Yes, it adapts, it changes, but the core 90% of it is always the same, always. And I just don't get bored. Why? Because I'm focused on the quality of the execution that I'm putting into what I'm doing, and then making sure with the same level of execution and form that then I'm progressing. Now, that progression is slow. It's slow, but it's progression. And that's what I'm focused on. And as long as my mind is focused on that, there is no boredom. Because I walk up to a seated hamco and I'm like, I know what my numbers were last week. On go the headphones, on goes the tunes, and that's it. I'm in, I'm off. And then I know next week I'll come back and do exactly the same thing. And if you, I encourage you to build up the ability to go and do that yourself. Start treating, if you want an optimized, body, mind, health, longevity, if you want to be an alpha, start acting like one, not the opposite. Approach your training like an athlete. If you were an athlete training for anything, high jump, right? There will be specific things that you will do every day, every week to get really good at jumping high. You won't just rip up that plan and go and do something else because you're bored. No, because the goal is to jump higher than everybody else. So if your goal is to be better than the you last year, then you need to do the things that are going to take you to being better than you last year. That doesn't mean changing everything. It means getting better at doing what you're doing. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up for there, right? So hopefully that's helped. Hope that's given a little bit of perspective as to be a little bit more disciplined with what you're doing. Don't change things up as often as you think you ought to. You really don't need to. I hope this has helped. If it has, give us a 5-star review, please. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the podcast, maybe download an episode, and I'll come back and find you in the next episode. Have a good day. Take care.